Notorious Game of Thrones villain may return in a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Imagine watching a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, feeling all warm and fuzzy about honor and chivalry, when suddenly a villain so twisted, so cunningly evil walks onto your screen that you immediately remember why Westeros cannot have nice things. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell because we're about to dive into the rumors, the theories, and the absolutely delicious possibility that one of Game of Thrones' most notorious villains might be making a comeback in the Dunk and Egg series. And trust me, this changes everything. The internet is absolutely buzzing with speculation that Bloodraven, also known as Brynden Rivers, might appear in a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And if you just said who, do not worry, we are about to blow your mind. This is not just some random character we're talking about. This is arguably one of the most fascinating, morally complicated, and straight-up terrifying figures in all of Westeros history. We are talking about a man who served as Hand of the King, commanded one of the most effective spy networks in the Seven Kingdoms, and eventually became the three-eyed raven that Bran Stark met beyond the wall. Yeah, that guy. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, before we go further, let us establish why Bloodraven appearing in this show would be absolutely perfect from a storytelling perspective. The Dunk and Egg tales take place during a time when Brynden Rivers was at the height of his power and influence. This was decades before he got exiled to the Night's Watch, centuries before he became that creepy tree person teaching Bran about green seeing and time travel. This is Bloodraven in his prime, pulling strings, manipulating politics, and serving as the realm's most feared spy master. Think Varys, but with actual magic powers and significantly less charm. The timing could not be more perfect for HBO to reintroduce this character to audiences. Most casual Game of Thrones viewers remember the three-eyed raven as that mysterious old dude in a tree who helped Bran unlock his powers. But they have no idea about his backstory, his decades of service to the realm, or the absolutely ruthless methods he employed to maintain order. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms could show us Bloodraven before the exile, before the transformation, when he was still fully human and actively shaping the political landscape of Westeros. It is like getting a villain origin story without the actual origin, just the juicy middle part where he's doing all the morally questionable things. Here is where things get really interesting from a character dynamics perspective. Bloodraven and Dunk exist in the same timeline, and their paths crossing would create some absolutely electric tension. You have got Dunk in the Tall, this walking embodiment of honor and straightforward heroism, potentially interacting with Brynden Rivers, a man who believes the ends always justify the means and has the magical abilities to enforce that philosophy. It is like watching a golden retriever meet a cobra. Both are impressive in their own ways, but one is definitely going to make you nervous. The historical context makes this potential appearance even more compelling. During the era of Dunk and Egg, Bloodraven served multiple kings as Hand and was instrumental in putting down several rebellions, including the Blackfire rebellions that threatened to tear the Seven Kingdoms apart. His methods were effective but brutal. We're talking about a man who once said 1,000 eyes in one, referring to his spy network that supposedly had informants everywhere. Paranoid much? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. The kind of character who makes modern surveillance states look like amateur hour. But let us talk about what makes Bloodraven such a fascinating villain or anti-hero or morally gray protagonist, depending on your perspective. He is not evil for the sake of being evil. He genuinely believes he is serving the realm and protecting the Targaryen dynasty. He just happens to do it through manipulation, assassination, and wielding dark magic like other people wield spreadsheets. His albino appearance with one red eye became legendary in Westeros, making him instantly recognizable and feared. You cannot exactly maintain a low profile when you look like you wandered out of the heavy metal album cover. The possibility of Bloodraven appearing also opens up incredible opportunities for world building and connecting different parts of the Game of Thrones timeline. HBO has been working hard to make the prequel shows feel interconnected, and having Bloodraven bridge the gap between the Dunk and Egg era and the events of the original series would be storytelling gold. It is the kind of long-game narrative planning that makes fans lose their minds connecting dots across decades of in-universe history. We love this stuff. Give us the conspiracy boards and red string connections. Now, let us address the elephant in the room, or should I say the raven in the tree. Casting Bloodraven would be a massive deal for HBO. They need someone who can embody both the physical intimidation of this albino warrior and the cold, calculating intelligence of a master manipulator. They need an actor who can make you understand why people feared this man, while simultaneously making you question whether his actions were justified. It is a tall order, and whoever lands this role is going to have massive shoes to fill, or in this case, a massive tree root system to fill. The potential for flashbacks or references to the Blackfire rebellions alone makes Bloodraven's inclusion almost necessary. These rebellions shaped the political landscape of Westeros for generations, and Bloodraven was right in the thick of them, fighting on behalf of the Targaryen dynasty against pretenders who claimed the throne. Showing these conflicts, even briefly, would give audiences crucial context about why the realm is the way it is during Dunk and Egg's adventures. It is like getting the director's cut with deleted scenes that actually matter to the plot. What makes this rumor particularly juicy is how it would affect the tone of the show. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is supposed to be a more intimate, character-driven story compared to the sprawling political epic of Game of Thrones. But throw Bloodraven into the mix, and suddenly you have got layers of intrigue, espionage, and magical manipulation lurking beneath the surface. It is like thinking you're watching a buddy comedy and discovering it is actually a spy thriller wearing a friendship bracelet. The tonal shift would be delicious. Think about the dramatic irony potential here. Audiences who watch Game of Thrones know that Bloodraven eventually becomes the three-eyed raven, knows that he trains Bran Stark, knows that he spends centuries as part of a weirwood tree beyond the wall. But from a marketing perspective, announcing Bloodraven's inclusion would be a masterstroke. It gives book readers something to get excited about, provides casual fans with a direct connection to the original series, and promises the kind of complex character work that Game of Thrones was famous for before everything went sideways in the final season. HBO knows they need to win back trust, and bringing back a character with this much potential while actually giving him the development he deserves would be a significant step in the right direction. Thanks for watching, and may your eyes be as many as Bloodraven spies, but significantly less creepy.